court is now in session. If you
welcome to 104.5 Hebrew Radio, man.
Before you get to the groove.
This is the what? This is the Thursday morning edition.
I'm just trying to understand what's happening right here.
All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High.
I keep walking in this wheel. And I'm trying to understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And everything that I see before my eyes look like I read it in a book somewhere. Now God don't dwell in temples made by hand. Why we keep going to man? Can I understand that, huh? Ho! Brother, do you understand? Are you feeling it right now?
Walking in the wheel of the Father.
We gon' step by step right now.
Trying to understand.
We trying to understand and break down this word.
Seeing prophecy right before our eyes.
Prophecy is happening
just
right
like it's plain.
And look like this was all in his plan. I know I read this.
God don't dwell in temples made by hand.
Now if the spirit don't dwell in temples made by hand, why we keep going to man? I don't understand that.
I'm gonna stop this track right now.
Well, I don't understand.
I show my brother can understand.
Wait a minute. I might have said that before. Hold on. Whoa!
Keep moving.
Yeah. Hebrew shake on that.
104.5 Hebrew Radio live on YouTube this morning.
Yeah. And when you do the Hebrew shake, you gotta make that Hebrew face, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look like the lion that you are. You got to go step by step in his will. Oh, somebody bring me a precept. Cause I'm seeing it before my eyes. And it's just like this stuff was planned, written a long time ago.
Keep walking in the wheel of the Father.
Now I done walked in them temples.
Trying to understand.
And I don't understand why we keep going to man.
Good morning, my sister. Good morning, Charlene. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my sister. Good morning. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.
Either he gonna understand or overstand. Give me something. Hit me with a precept.
God don't dwell in temples made by hand. So why we keep going to man?
Oh, my brother just gave me something. This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 3. There shall be no might in thy hand. Give me a precept. Verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall the nation which thou knowest eat up.
Keep walking in the wheel of the Father.
And you shall be only
Trying
oppressed
to understand.
and crushed always. Deuteronomy 28.
In prophecy that can be
We
told out.
gonna go a little bit further. We gonna go down
Just
here to
like
Deuteronomy
it's
28
planned.
and verse 41. Let me see what's going on right here. Let me read this.
Oh,
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou
so
shalt
why
not
we keep
enjoy
going to
them,
man?
for they shall go into captivity.
I don't understand.
And look up this word captivity. Let's see what this says.
I understand.
Captivity means imprisonment, confinement, internment, incarceration, custody, detention, restraint, constraints, committal, arrest, bondage, slavery, servitude, enslavement. Hell! I'm trying to understand why we keep going to man when we got all this knowledge in this book.
Walking in the wheel of the Father.
I stop this track right now.
Trying to understand.
I know you're gonna understand this one. I'll thank you for the precept.
Seeing prophecy right before our eyes. Just like it was planned. God don't dwell in temples made by hand. So why we keep going to man?
We keep going to man. 104.5 Hebrew Radio, man.
Stop this track right now.
This word
I show my brother
says.
Understand.
Captivity means imprisonment, confinement, internment, incarceration, custody, detention, restraint, constraints, committal, arrest, bondage, slavery, servitude, enslavement. Hell! I'm trying to
Just
understand
like it was planned.
why we keep going to man when we got all this knowledge in this book.
Will and temple made by hand.
I stop this track right
So
now.
why we keep going to man?
I know you're gonna understand this one. I'll thank you for the precept.
Yeah, man. 104.5 Hebrew Radio, man, this Thursday morning. Just getting warmed up, man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna try to finish. We're gonna go back into Joseph, man. The blessed of the Lord, man. All praises.
Time to repent and be baptized.
Repentance baptism, repentance baptism.
Time to repent, I don't care if you repent.
Repentance and baptism. No more ism, schism. No more socialism. Unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given.
You call him Jesus.
Isaiah 9:6. We call him the Hebrew name Yeshua. Repentance and baptism.
I am that I am.
Time to repent and be baptized.
Repentance and baptism.
The Most High Spirit, amen.
Repentance and baptism. Great day that follow. Every day young people.
The Most High Spirit, amen.
Messiah, the King of the stars.
Time to repent and be baptized.
Follow the Most High.
It's time to repent. I don't care if you repented 3 times. Did you really follow the Most High? Repent and be baptized.
Follow the Most High. Christ is the straight gate. Christ is the only way.
Time to repent and be baptized.
Repentance baptism. Repentance baptism.
Time to repent. I don't
The
care.
Most High Spirit,
Baptism.
Follow the Most
I
High.
got it.
Repent and be baptized.
Amen.
Follow the Most High.
I got it. The Most High Spirit, amen.
You call him Jesus.
Repentance
Call him
baptism.
the Hebrew
Repentance
name
baptism.
Yeshua.
All praise God.
Repentance
I am
and
that I
baptism.
am.
No more ism, schism. No more socialism. Unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given.
I got it. The Most High Spirit, amen. I got it. The Most High Spirit,
Baptism,
amen.
repentance,
I got it. The Most High Spirit, amen.
baptism. No more ism, schism. No more socialism. Unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given.
You call him Jesus.
Isaiah 9:6.
We call him the Hebrew name Yeshua.
Repentance and baptism.
I am that I am. Amen. I got it.
Repentance and baptism.
The Most High Spirit, amen.
Repentance,
I
baptism.
got it.
The straight gate to follow. Repent every day, young people.
I got it. The Most High Spirit, amen.
Messiah, the King of the stars.
Time to repent and be baptized. Follow
The
the
Most High.
Time to repent. I don't care if you repented 3 times. Did you really follow the Most High? Repent and be baptized.
Follow the Most High. Christ is the straight gate. Christ is the only way.
Repentance, baptism. Repentance,
I
baptism.
got it. The Most High Spirit,
Repentance and
amen.
baptism.
I got it.
No more ism, schism. No
Amen.
more socialism.
I got it.
Unto us
The
a
Most
child
High
is born.
Spirit,
Unto
amen.
us a son is given. Isaiah 9:6. Repentance and baptism.
Yeah, man, we need to repent and be baptized, man.
Repentance and baptism. Repentance and baptism.
All praise to the Most High, man. All praise to the Most High. Yesterday was a miracle born in the world. My granddaughter was born yesterday. All praise to the Most High, man. All praise to the Most High, man. I can see the next generation of God's children.
In the name of Yeshua, this was for a higher. In the name of Yeshua, all praise the higher, sure, higher.
This is for a higher, it's for a higher, in the name of Yeshua, the name of Yeshua. This is for a higher, it's for a higher, in the name of Yeshua, the name of Yeshua. This is for a higher, it's for a higher, in the name of Yeshua, it's for a higher. This is for a higher, it's for a higher, in the name of Yeshua.
A higher frequency from the dirt. We've been made from the earth. Adam and Eve, Satan deceived. Believe in you will achieve a higher. In the name of Yeshua. This one's for a higher. In the name of Yeshua. Holy Spirit, she's bringing wisdom today. Daniel chapter 12.
This is for a higher, it's for a higher, in the name of Yeshua, the name of Yeshua. This is for a higher, for a higher, in the name of Yeshua, the name of Yeshua. This is for a higher, it's for a higher, in the name of Yeshua, it's for a higher. This is for a higher, for a higher, in the name of Yeshua.
Oh, fill up the words, fill up the words. Seal the book, Daniel, till the last days. The knowledge shall be increased higher.
Good morning, my sister. Good morning, JP. What's happening, my brother? What's happening? What's happening, man?
Our Father, higher, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom will come, thy will be done in all the earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day for our daily bread.
This is for a higher, in the name of Yeshua, the name of Yeshua. This is for a higher. Shalom, 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 shalom. In the name of Yeshua, the name of Yeshua. This is for a higher, it's for a higher. In the name of Yeshua, it's for a higher. This is for a higher, it's for a higher, in the name of Yeshua, man. All praise the Most High, man. All praise the Most High, man. I wasn't here yesterday. My granddaughter was born yesterday. Had my grandson with me all day, and it's hard to do videos with him because he's just 3. He's gonna be moving around and he's gonna be everywhere. So I got to keep an eye on him. We have to watch our children, man. We have to definitely watch our children because nobody else is going to watch our children before us. We used to be a village. We used to be a tribe. We would watch all each other's children and take care of each other's children. But now this new day has come where the love of many has waxed cold, and nobody seems to care about each other at all these days. You know what I'm saying? There's very few people showing pure love out there to each other, man. Everybody has something that seems like they'll do something, but they have some kind of back motive for it. You know what I'm saying? But when you're in the spirit of the Most High, man, all gifts are blessings from the Most High, man. He'll have people doing stuff for you. You don't even realize why they're doing it. They're doing it because the Most High put it on their mind, man, to do it for you. All praise the Most High, man. All praise the Most High, man. Listen, we were in the story of Joseph when we got cut off the other day. When the Most High was dealing with Joseph in a dream, and Joseph was revealing the dreams that he was having.
The Most High dealing with him in the spirit. He was revealing the dreams to his brethren. And his brethren became more and more jealous of him because of his dream and his dream that they would all bow down to him. You understand? And that who wouldn't be jealous of something like that? You know what I'm saying? So we can't put ourselves above his brethren because we would have these same feelings that our young brother would come tell us we're gonna be bowing down to him. You understand? But it wasn't him. These wasn't dreams in vain. This was the Most High dealing with him and giving him he wasn't commanding himself to dream these dreams. This was the Most High giving him these dreams and preparing him for something that he was going to have to do for his people and for the nation. So we want to get back into that story. And we left all the story. He was down in the pit, crying out to his brothers down in the pit. And we're going to go to the book of Jasher and continue that story. 44. And the sons of the Ishmael who had brought Joseph who had brought him from his brethren, went to Egypt with Joseph and came upon the borders of Egypt. And when they came near to the Egypt, they met with 4 men of the sons of Medan and the sons of Abraham who had gone forth from the land of Egypt on their journey. And the Ishmaelites said unto them, do you desire to purchase this slave from us? And they said, deliver him over to us. And they delivered Joseph over to them. And they beheld him, that he was very comely, a very comely youth. And they purchased him for 20 shekels. They sold him for cheap. And Ishmael, the Ishmaelites can sold him for cheap. And Ishmael, the Ishmaelites continued their journey to Egypt. And the Medinims also returned that day to Egypt. And the Medinims said to each other, behold, we have heard that Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, seeketh a good servant who shall stand him and attend him and make him overseer over all his house and all belonging to him. Now therefore, come, let us sell him to him for what we may desire. And if he be able to give unto us that which we shall require for him. And when these Medinians went to and came to the house of Potiphar and said unto him, we have heard that thou seekest a good servant to attend thee. Behold, we have a servant that will please thee, if thou canst give us unto us that which we may desire, and we will sell him unto thee. And Potiphar said, bring him before me, and I will see him. And if he please me, I will give unto you that which you require from me. And the Medinims went and brought Joseph and placed him before Potiphar. And he saw him, and he pleased him exceedingly. And Potiphar said unto them, tell me what you require for this youth. And they said, 400 pieces of silver. Now they bought him for 20 shekels. But they want to sell him for 400 pieces of silver. He says, 400 pieces of silver we desire for him. And Potiphar said, I will give it of you if ye bring me record of his sale to you, and will tell me his history, for perhaps he may be stolen from his youth, and neither a slave nor the son of a slave, but I observe in him the appearance of a goodly and handsome person. And the Medinians went and brought unto him the Ishmaelites, who had sold him to them. And they told him, saying, he is a slave, and we sold him to them. And Potiphar heard the words of the Ishmaelites, in giving the silver, and in his giving the silver unto the Medinians. And the Medinians took the silver and went on their journey, and the Ishmaelites all returned home. And Potiphar took Joseph and brought him into his house that he might serve him. And Joseph found favor in the sight of Potiphar and placed confidence in him and made him overseer of his house, and all that belonged to him he delivered over into his hand. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he became a prosperous man. And the Lord blessed the house of Potiphar for Joseph's sake. And Potiphar left all that he had in the hand of he left all that he had in the hand of Joseph. And Joseph was one that caused things to come in and go out. And everything was regulated with him in the house of Potiphar. He was the warehouse manager. He was in Potiphar's house. He was running everything. Nothing was coming in and going out without him knowing about it. And Joseph was 18 years old, a youth with beautiful eyes and with comely appearance, and like unto him was not in all of the land of Egypt. And at that time, whilst he was in his master's house, going in and out of the house and attending his master, Zilpah, his master's wife, lifted up her eyes toward Joseph, and she looked at him, and behold, he was a youth, comely and well favored. And she coveted his beauty in her heart. She already wanted. And her soul was fixed upon Joseph. And she enticed him day after day. And Zilpah pursued Joseph daily. But Joseph did not lift up his eyes to behold his master's wife. And Zilpah said unto him, how goodly are thy appearance, and from truly and form. Truly, I have looked at all slaves, and I have not seen so beautiful a slave as thou art. And Joseph said unto her, surely he who created me in my mother's womb created all mankind. And she said unto him, how beautiful are thy eyes, which thou hast dazzled all the inhabitants of Egypt, men and women. So in Egypt, the men and the women wanted Joseph in that manner. And he said unto her, how beautiful they are while I'm alive. But should thou behold them in the grave, surely thou move away from them. And she said unto him, how beautiful and pleasing are all thy words. Take now, I pray thee, the harp which is in the house, and play with thy hands, and let us hear thy words. And he said unto her, how beautiful and pleasing are my words when I speak the praise of my God and his glory. And she said unto him, how very beautiful is the hair of thy head. Behold, the golden comb which is in the house. Take it, I pray thee, and curl thy hair of thy head. This way, as I'm reading this, I'm seeing that sitcom, The Parkers, Nikki Parker going after Professor Ogilvy. No matter what he say, she's still coming. And unto her, how long wilt thou speak these words? Cease to utter these words to me, and rise and attend to thy domestic affairs. And she said, and thy wish. Yet, notwithstanding all this, she could not bring Joseph unto her, neither did he place his eyes upon her, but directed his eyes below the ground the whole time. That's why we bow our heads and pray to the Most High. The whole time, she's trying to get him to look on her vain beauty and her vain glory. He was looking toward the Most High. And Zilpah desired Joseph in her heart that he should lie with her. And at the time that Joseph was sitting in the house doing his work, Zilpah came and sat before him, and she came and enticed him daily, and her discourse to lie with her, or even to look at her, but Joseph would not hearken to her. And she said unto him,
if thou wilt not do according to my word, I will chastise thee with the punishment of death, and put an iron of yoke upon thee. And Joseph said unto her, surely God, who created man, looseth the fetters of prison, and it is he who will deliver me from thy prison and from thy judgment. And when she could not prevail over him to persuade him, her soul being fixed upon him, her desires threw her into a grievous sickness. And all the women of Egypt came to visit her, and said unto her, why art thou in this declined state? Thou lackest nothing. Surely thy husband is a great and esteemed prince in the sight of the king. Shouldest thou lack anything of what thy heart desires? So she like, look, they walk in, they looking at our house, and they looking all around and say, what is your problem? Why are you in this condition when you got all the riches of the world? You got everything, girl, and you still tripping? That's what they saying to her. And she gave them, and Zilkah answered and said to them, this day it shall be known to you when this disorder sprang in which you see me. And she commanded her maidservants to prepare food for all the women. And she made a banquet for them. And all the women ate in the house of Zilkah. And she gave them knives to peel the citrons to eat them. And she commanded that they should dress Joseph in costly garment, and that he should appear before them. And Joseph came before the eyes of all the women looked upon Joseph. Let me say, when Joseph came before their eyes, and all the women looked upon Joseph, and could not take their eyes from off of him. And they all cut their hands with the knives that they had in their hands, and all the citrons that were in their hands were filled with blood. They so caught up in the flesh. They cutting their hands, and they don't even understand what they do. And they knew not that they had done this. They knew not that they had done, but they continued to look at the beauty of Joseph, and did not turn their eyelids from him. God, that Negro is fine. That's what they saying. And Zilkah saw what they had done, and she said unto them, what is this work that you have done? Behold, I gave you citrons to eat, and you have all cut your hands. And all the women saw their hands, and beheld, they were full of blood, and their blood flowed down upon their garments. And they said unto her, this slave in your house has overcome us, and we could not turn our eyelids from him on account of his beauty. And she said unto them, surely this happened to you in the moment that you looked at him, and you could not contain yourselves from him. How then can I refrain when he is constantly in my house? And I see him day after day going in and out of my house. How then can I keep from decline, or even from perishing on the account of this? And they said unto her, your words are true. For who can see the beautiful form in the house and refrain from him? Listen what they're saying. They have no morals, man. They're just looking at him. They're ready to jump the man's bones already. Look what it says. And she said unto them, they said unto her, the words are true. For who can see this beautiful form in the house and refrain from him? And he is not thy slave, and attends in thy house. And why dost thou not tell him that which is in thy heart, and suffer thy soul to perish through this matter? And she said unto them, I am daily endeavoring to persuade him, and he will not consent to my wishes. And I promise him everything that is good, and yet
I could not weep. I could meet with no return from him. I am therefore in a declined state, as ye see. And Zilkah became very ill on account of her desires toward Joseph. And she was desperately lovesick on the account of him. And all the people of the house of Zilkah and her husband knew nothing of this matter, that Zilkah was ill on the account of her love to Joseph. And all the people of her house asked her, saying, Why art thou ill and declined, and lackest nothing? And she said unto him, I know not this thing which daily increase upon me. And all the women and her friend came daily to see her, and they spoke with her. And she said unto them, This can only be through the love of Joseph. And they said unto her, Entice him and seize him secretly. Perhaps he may hearken unto thee, and put off this death from thee. And Zilkah became worse from her love to Joseph. And she continued to decline till she had scarce the strength to stand. And on a certain day, Joseph was doing his master's work in the house, and Zilkah came secretly and fell suddenly upon him. And Joseph rose up against her, and he went more and was more powerful than she, and brought her down to the ground. And Zilkah wept on the account of the desires of her heart toward him. And she supplicated him with weeping, and her tears flowed down her cheek. And she spoke unto him in a voice of supplication and in bitterness of soul, saying, Hast thou ever heard, seen, or known of so beautiful a woman as I am, or better than myself, who speaks daily unto thee, fall into decline through love of thee, confer all her honor upon thee, and still thou wilt not hearken to my voice? And if it be through the fear of thy master, lest he punish thee, as the king liveth, no harm shall come to thee from thy master through this thing. Now therefore, pray thee, listen to me, and consent for the sake of the honor which I confer upon thee, and put off this death from me. And why should I die for thy sake? And she ceased to speak. Now, this brother, all he doing is trying to be righteous and do right. She blaming him for God blessing him with a good appearance. She's blaming him for her desires toward him. It's not his fault, but now in her heart, she's blaming him. And Joseph answered her, saying, Refrain from me, and leave this matter to my master. Behold, my master knoweth that not what there is with me in the house. For all that belongeth to him, he has delivered into my hand. And how shall I do this thing in my master's house? For he has also greatly honored me in his house. Look, he's just being an honorable man, saying, look, I'm just going, there's laws against what you're asking me to do. There's the Most High laws against that. We live by these laws. And I'm going to dishonor myself and dishonor the trust that the man put in me because of you. For he has so greatly honored me in the house, and he has also made me overseer of his house, and he has exalted me. There is no one greater in this house than I am, and my master has refrained nothing from me except thee, who art his wife. How then can thou speak these words unto me? And how can I do this great evil and sin to God and to thy husband? Now therefore, refrain from me, and speak no more such words as these, for I will not hearken unto thy words. But Zilkah will not hearken to Joseph when he spoke these words unto her, but she daily enticed him to listen to her. And it was after that the brook of Egypt was filled above all its sides, And all the inhabitants of Egypt went forth, and all the kings and the princes went forth with timbrels and dancing. For it was a great rejoicing in Egypt, a holiday at the time of the inundation of the sea, Shaor. And they went. Zilkah saw Joseph, turned back from her, and she called out to him, saying, What aileth thee, Joseph? Come to thy work, and behold, I will make room for thee until thou shalt have passed to thy seat, and do his master's work, and also to do his master's work as usual. And behold, Zilkah came to him and stood before him in princely garments, and the scent from her clothes was spread to a distance. And she hastened and caught hold of Joseph and his garment, and she said unto him, Are you going to put out, or you going to die? And she hastened and stretched forth her other hand, drew his sword from beneath her garment, and placed it upon his neck. And she said, Rise and perform my request, and if not, thou diest this day. Now, how are you supposed to rise with a knife to his neck? All praise the Most High. Look how evil this is, man. This is what this brother had to go through, man. This is exactly what this brother had to go through. All praise the Most High. And Joseph was afraid of her at her doing this thing, and rose up to flee from her. And she seized the front of his garment, and in the terror of his flight, the garment which Zilkah seized was torn. And Joseph left the garment in the hand of Zilkah, and he fled out and got out, and he was in fear. And Zilkah saw Joseph's garment was torn, and that he had left it in her hand, and fled. And she was afraid of for her life, lest the report should spread concerning her. And she rose up and acted with cunning, and put off the garments in which she had dressed, and she put on her other garment. And she took Joseph's garment, and she laid it beside her. And she went and set herself in the place where she sat then in the house. And she ordered him to call the people of the house to her. And when she saw them, she said unto them with a loud voice of lamentation, See what a Hebrew your master has brought to me in this house. For he came this day to lie with me. For when he came unto me, and I caught hold of him with the intent to lie, and he caught hold of me with the intent to lie with me. And I seized his garment and tore them, and called out against him with a loud voice. And when I had lifted up my voice, he was afraid of his life, and left his garment before me, and fled. And the people of the house spoke nothing, but their wrath was very much kindled against Joseph. And they went to the master and told him the words of his wife. And Potiphar came home in rage, and his wife cried out to him, saying, What is this thing that thou hast done unto me in bringing a Hebrew servant into my house? For he came unto me this day to sport with me. Thus did he do unto me this day. And Potiphar heard the words of his wife, and he ordered Joseph to be punished with several stripes. And they did so to him. And whilst they were smitten him, Joseph called out with a loud voice, and lifted up his eyes to the heaven, and said, O Lord God, thou knowest that I am innocent of all these things. And why shall I die this day through falsehood by the hand of the uncircumcised wicked men whom thou knowest? He's calling out the same way that Christ called out when they were persecuting Christ. He was calling out the same way. This is Joseph's life being married with the life of Christ here. His actions right here are being married with the actions of Christ. And whilst Potiphar's men were beating Joseph, he continued to cry out and weep. And there was a child there, 11 months old. And the Lord opened the mouth of the child. And he spoke these words before Potiphar's men, who were smiting Joseph, saying, "What do you want with this of this man? And why do you do this evil unto him? My mother speaketh falsely, and uttereth lies." Thus was the transaction. And as the child told them accurately all that happened, and all the words of Zilkah to Joseph, day after day did he declare unto them. And all the men heard the words of the child, and they wondered greatly at the child's word. And the child ceased to speak and became still. And Potiphar was very much ashamed at the words of his son. See, that child that was talking, that was Potiphar's son. He says, and Potiphar was very much ashamed at the words of his son. He had commanded his men not to beat Joseph anymore, and that his men ceased beating Joseph. But he still hardened his heart. He's ashamed because he's been out, his wife has been out, and he's ashamed about the whole situation, and then that she chasing this man, that he, that one of his servants that he brought in, she chasing him, and now they got out to the people. He's shamed for the whole thing. But look at his action. Potiphar took Joseph and ordered him to be brought to justice before the priest. Why he didn't go to God right there? Why he didn't not kneel down and start seeking the advice of the Most High God? He went to the priest. He knew in his heart what his child was telling him was true. But now he got to fix it in a worldly fashion instead of a spiritual fashion. So Potiphar took Joseph and ordered him to be brought to justice before the priests, who were judges belonging to the king, in order to judge him concerning this affair. And Potiphar and Joseph came before the priests, who were the king's judges. And he said unto them, "Decide, I pray you, what judgment is due to a servant, for thus he had done." And the priest said unto Joseph, "Why didst thou do this thing to thy master?" And Joseph answered them, saying, "Not so, my lord. Thus was the matter." And Potiphar said unto Joseph, "Surely I entrusted in thy hand all that belongeth to me, and I withheld nothing from thee but my wife. And how couldst thou do this evil?" And Joseph answered, saying, "Not so, my lord. As the Lord liveth, and as my soul liveth, my lord, the words which thou didst hear from thy wife is untrue. For thus was the affair this day. A year elapsed hold on, pop-ups keep here. A year has elapsed to see me since I have been in thy house. Hast thou seen any iniquity in me, or anything which might cause thee to demand my life?" And the priest said unto Potiphar, "Send, we pray thee, and let them bring forth before us Joseph's torn garment, and let us see the tear in it. And if it shall be that the tear is in the front of the garment, then his face must have been opposite of hers, and she must have caught hold of king's prisoners she left off, going enticed in the land of Canaan, still mourning and weeping those days on account of Joseph. But Jacob refused to be comforted for his son Joseph, and Jacob cried aloud and wept, mourning all the days." Book of Jasher, another account of this same story to give more of the understanding of what Joseph had to deal with. This is This is the pseudepigrapha. This is the testament of the 12 patriarchs, the testament of Joseph. This is him, right? He's speaking. It says, verse 1, a testament of Joseph. When he was about to die, he called his sons and his brethren together and said unto them, my brethren and my children, hearken to Joseph, the beloved of Israel. Give ear, my son, unto my father. I have seen in my life envy and death. Yet I went not astray, but preserved in the truth of the Lord. These my brethren hated me, but the Lord loved me. They wished to slay me, but the God of my fathers guarded me. They let me down in a pit, and the Most High brought me up again. I was sold into slavery, and the Lord of all made me free. I was taken into captivity, and his strong hand secured me. I was beset with hunger, and the Lord himself nourished me. I was alone, and God comforted me. I was sick, and the Lord visited me. I was in prison, and my God showed favor unto me. Lord have mercy. In bonds, and he released me. Slandered, and he pleaded my cause. Lord God, y'all excuse me. Bitterly spoken against by the Egyptians who delivered me. Envied by my fellow slaves against a shameless woman, urging me to transgress with her. But the God of Israel, my father, delivered me from the burning flame. I was cast into prison. I was beaten. I was mocked. But the Lord granted me to find mercy in the sight of the keeper of the prison. For the Lord does not forsake them that fear him, neither in darkness, nor in bond, nor in tribulation, nor in necessity. For God is not put to shame as a man, nor as the Son of Man is he afraid, nor as one that is earthborn is he weak or frightened. But in all these things does he protect and in diverse ways, and in diverse ways do he comfort. For a little space he departed to try the inclination of thy soul. In 10 temptations he showed me approval. In all of them I endured. For endurance is mighty than charm. Good thing. How often did this Egyptian woman threaten me with death? How often did she give me over to punishment? And they called me back, but I gave it to the poor and the sick. I sought the Lord early, and I wept for the Egyptian woman of Memphis. For teach me how to be like you, Joseph. That's what she's saying. And she said unto me, if thou willest, that instruction leave my idols, lie with me, and I will persuade my husband to depart from his idols, and I will walk in the law of thy Lord. And I said unto her, to his teaching, and to all that he commands, and to put aside all that the Most High, they live in their society. That's the spirit that's out there. It's a wickedness that's out there, a spiritual wickedness in high places that are in the people today, that are having them to want to do as they will at all costs. Is that do as our wills, that do as our will spirit out here at all costs in these last days. And the only protection that we have against the wild is the word of the Most High, the protection of Christ. Thank you, my brother, Mr. Baptiste. I'm about to get off, man. About to get off. The shade is buffering. I'm about to get off before it cuts me off. But listen, stick with the Most High, man. Do like Joseph did, man. Through all he went through, all the envy, death, through all people wanting to kill him, through him lying on him and everything, he did right through all of that. He reserved in his heart to do right through all of that. All praise the Most High, man. Y'all have a wonderful day, man. Y'all have a wonderful day, man. Have a wonderful day. And just know, somebody lied to us somewhere, man. And we're going to find the truth some kind of way. We'll find the truth. The Most High will reveal it to us in his own due time.
Somebody lied. Somebody lied. Somebody lied. Somebody lied. Know this, know this, know this, know this. In the last days, perilous times shall exist. True breakers, false accusers, the opposite of God is devil and loser. Matthew chapter 12, in verse 30. He that is not with me is against me. And we